Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Kelly Klass and Jill Skeene.
And good morning, and welcome to Top Story. 7360300 is the number to call on this TGIF day. Good morning, Jill.
Did you almost forget the number? TGIF. TGIF?
Yeah, all my thinking is done at the last minute
God,
anymore.
it's Friday.
Yep. Well, gosh, we got a busy day today.
Seemed like this week flew by.
Not to me. This week drug
stop.
by. In fact, December is dragging.
Oh, you are so pathetic.
Oh, my gosh. It's already been a half a year just since the 1st of December.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
you're gonna say that mid-January when you're going, I did what? I have no one to talk to? Where's that person I used to yell at?
Yeah.
What am I doing in this basement?
We're the ones who used to yell at me.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
we have Ella Donahue coming up at 8:20 with a CSI update.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Workman from the Idaho Lottery is here.
That's right.
And
He's going to give us tips on how to win a lottery ticket.
I know, yeah, I think so.
I think so. Listen up.
And then at 9 o'clock, we have Rod Haynes from the Seattle Medicare Medicaid office.
Mm-hmm.
Open enrollment ends when?
I think it's
A couple of days, isn't it? Or is it that soon? Is it December 7th?
That would be, or 6th or something.
That would be Sunday.
Yeah, something. We'll find out.
December 7th will be Pearl Harbor Day, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking to him. We got
or
lots
maybe
of stuff
December
to talk about this morning.
15th or something.
We'll
find out.
Might be. Yeah,
Okay.
We'll find out when we get him on the phone.
So if you have any questions about Medicare right now, call.
He is the guy with all the answers.
And Social Security, too. He knows that stuff, too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Rod knows a lot of things.
He does. He does.
He does.
Unlike you and me, is that what you're trying to say? I know what you're trying to say.
He's an expert in that. That's why we have him on.
President Obama is getting ready to announce the new pick for Secretary of Defense to replace Chuck Hagel. In fact, he's going to be doing that in just, excuse me.
What is in your throat?
I don't know, and I had the hiccups just before I flipped the mic on, too. So
Did you eat something before you got on here?
I just had a donut.
Okie dokie.
Doug Mon brought his weekly donut stash for us, and I had a little...
Is he trying to kill you?
0-calorie diet donut.
Yeah, really.
I just ate the whole.
The whole thing. It was just the whole. Okay.
Well, I was half right.
And then I forgot the other part.
So anyway, he will be announcing that Ashley Carter is his pick to replace outgoing Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel. Carter is a well-decorated national security official who also is a former Deputy Defense Secretary. The Philadelphia native has on several occasions been awarded the Department of Defense Distinguished Service Medal, the department's highest honor, and has received multiple medals for his contributions to intelligence. So,
good.
There you go. We'll see how that goes.
Apparently, I hope his public speaking is a little bit better and more prepared for things. You know, Chuck Hagel never was. It was kind of.
It was a little dicey.
A little tough there.
Yeah. A new a new study by Harvard University economists say that lefties, people who are left-handed, generally make less money than righties. And they may be worse off in other areas of life also.
Well, they do say they have more accidents and things like. My mom's left-handed, but they do say they have more accidents because things are all really kind of made for the right. So, you have more problems.
Interesting.
Like they have to make special scissors and things like that. It's different things you don't think like.
There's left and right-handed guns, I know. So.
Well, there you go.
Harvard public policy professor Joshua Goodman writes in the Journal of Economic Perspectives that there's a popular perception that lefties can be unusually talented. For example, 4 of the last 7 American presidents are left-handed.
President Obama's left-handed.
Well, that explains a lot. But by using data sets from the United States and the United Kingdom that show handedness, test scores, and salaries, Goodman determined that lefties have 10 to 12% lower annual earnings than righties.
Huh.
Median annual earnings for male lefties in the U.S. are about $2,500 lower than male righties, and female lefties make about $3,400 less than female righties. Well, we need to pass a law. That'll fix it all. So there you go.
But why do they say? But why? Why? There's got to be a reason why you don't just say that. I mean, why? There's got to be something.
I don't know. It wasn't in this story. Lefties exhibit economically and statistically significant human capital deficits relative to righties, even conditional on infant health and family background. Goodman writes, lefties work in more manually intensive occupations than do righties, further suggesting that their primary labor market disadvantage is cognitive rather than physical. About 1 in every 8 people are left-handed.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I guess I should have known this information when I went to therapy and could blame it on my mother. She was a lefty.
That's right.
Come on. Look at me.
On cognitive skills tests, lefties also do worse, and the evidence that lefties are gifted with greater creativity is fairly weak. The bad news for lefties doesn't end there. Lefties have more emotional and behavioral problems, have more learning disabilities such as dyslexia, complete less schooling, and work in occupations.
I think the reporter was a lefty.
And work in occupations requiring less cognitive skill.
Well, my mother is obviously the total exception.
Yeah.
She graduated high school at 16, went to college. I mean, she is extremely bright, did her master's in a year, speech pathologist, and did really well.
Wow.
So there you go.
Interesting.
Way to go, Mom.
Coming up, we're going to talk about cameras on police. Should police in the Magic Valley area wear cameras? We have some interesting information on that.
It's quite interesting.
There's a story in the Times News that had some interesting numbers on the amount that it would cost to put cameras on the police.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I don't know, man. I got something in my throat, and I don't know.
Did the donut have an almond in it?
Maybe did.
I did not do that to you.
I didn't know that Doug was trying to kill me, but maybe he is.
You knew I was, but Doug? Gosh.
I know. NASA's new Orion spacecraft lifted off from Florida's Cape Canaveral on schedule this morning, an uncrewed test flight that begins what the space agency hopes is a new era of manned space exploration. The capsule and Delta IV Heavy rocket cleared the service tower and minutes later shed the boosters without any apparent hitches. 8 minutes into the flight, Delta IV's upper stage was carrying Orion to its preliminary orbit, traveling around 14,000 miles an hour. That's fast.
Yeah.
I had a 57 Chevy in high school that would go almost that fast. Orion will orbit Earth once at relatively low altitude before heading much higher at 3,600 miles above the planet, or 15 times higher than the International Space Station.
Wow.
NASA hopes Orion will usher in a new era, eventual human exploration of asteroids and Mars.
Oh, good.
The Orion crew module looks like a throwback to the Apollo era, but it's roomier and designed to go far beyond the moon.
Good. Maybe we can pollute every planet in the solar system.
Oh, there you
Let's
go.
leave our garbage on every single planet. We now have it on a comet. We've got it on the moon. I'm sure we'll be somewhere else. So there you go.
So I take it you're against space exploration?
No, I'm for it, but it would be nice if they could gather the stuff that's floating. There's a lot of stuff floating around, a lot of garbage up there.
Actually, there is.
There really is.
There is a tracking center that does nothing but keeps track of space junk.
There is a lot of space junk.
Hundreds of thousands of anything from the size of a pea up to the size of a car door.
I know.
So, and when the astronauts go up there, if they go very high, they have to watch out for that stuff.
Yeah.
Because an object the size of a pea hitting you at 17,000 miles an hour would literally disintegrate you.
It would leave a mark.
So, could ruin your whole day.
It could really.
So,
what a bummer. Was that a pea or an asteroid? It doesn't matter.
That's right. Exactly. So, and our final news story of the day, we are no longer number one.
Oh, wow.
Today, we're number 2. It's official. The Chinese economy just overtook the United States economy to become the largest in the world. For the first time since Ulysses S. Grant was president, America is not leading economic power on the planet. It just happened, and almost nobody noticed. The International Monetary Fund recently released the latest numbers for the world economy, and when you measure national economic output in real terms of goods and services, China will this year produce $17.6 trillion, compared with $17.4 trillion for the USA. As recently as 2000, we produced nearly 3 times as much as the Chinese. To put the numbers slightly different, China now accounts for 16.5% of the global economy when measured in real purchasing power terms, compared to 16.3% for the U.S. This latest economic earthquake follows the development last year when China surpassed the U.S. for the first time in terms of global trade.
Well, you know what? All I can say is buy American this holiday season and help the American companies.
7360300, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
You are talking about big, big numbers. $17 trillion is China's total economy, and we're in debt that much.
That's right. Actually, we're in debt $18 trillion. It just went to $18 trillion, I believe.
That's
I read
more
this
than
week.
the total economy of the biggest economic power in the world.
That is
Do
correct.
we know how much debt China has?
I don't have any idea.
They have all of our debt, or a lot of our debt.
I know.
I can
They've
tell
got
you
our
that.
debt, yeah.
So, no, I know.
It'd be
it's a
interesting
sad
to
state
know
of
what
affairs.
but
It is
you
a
know.
sad state of affairs.
But our
and-
deficit is going down. It's less than half of what it is right now
Well,
than when it started.
I understand that, but
And that's a good thing too.
It is a good thing, but it's minuscule compared to our debt. I mean, we are drowning in our debt.
I understand.
So, and I don't see it turning around anytime soon. When we spend $250 million and $250 billion here and there and everywhere, and the president wants to spend, I think, $250 million to put cameras on policemen in the country, you know, and I mean, that would be nice and good and all, but we don't have $250 million anymore. Shoot, we don't have $25 million to spend in this country. It's all debt.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to make any difference to anybody, and consequently, China has now overtaken us, and pretty soon, who knows who else is going to overtake us. The heyday of America is gone, and
please.
it's right there in black and
Is
white.
it the
You
heyday, or
cannot
is it
argue.
okay that other countries are coming up to where we are? Should we have to be the dominant leader for everything
we
all
do.
the time?
We do.
Then
Absolutely,
let's
we
fix
do.
our roads and trains and things like that.
Well, I can't afford that. We'll be right back.
Look what Congress is doing.
We're back. 7360300 is always the number to call. And you also need to call Pat Hartzell at 280-1167. He can set you up so you can see a low and honey loader in action on one of the local dairies or feedlots. Because, you know, if you have a big dairy or feedlot, lots of animals, you might need one of these low and honey loaders, and you can just see how they operate in real life. Mm-hmm. And Pat's the guy, 280-1167 with Stanley and Company. You tell him that we told you to call and to fix you up with seeing one of those low and honey loaders.
That's right.
Yeah, we have Ella Donahue with us this morning. I keep wanting to say Ella Fitzgerald, and last time I almost said that.
You did.
So, good morning, Ella.
Good morning.
You have our CSI update.
Yes, I do. We got a lot of stuff going on this week.
So we have to shut up now, Jill, and just let her talk. There's a lot of stuff. She needs to cover it.
And stop talking. All right.
The Magic Mud Art Show and Sale runs through tomorrow in the Student Union. About 20 CSI pottery students and established artists are showing and selling their works. This is fun and lots of neat stuff at all different price ranges, so if you need some Christmas presents, I know I kind of go shopping there. And then it goes on from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. today and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow.
I have gone in the past and I've bought some things. They have
got
some
some
really
good
nice stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they do.
I have a little goblet in the house, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the CSI woodworking auction is tomorrow at the Harris Center. The students have made some beautiful tables, beds, cabinets, cutting boards, cribs, and even more. Everything will be on display in the Harris Center Rick Allen room today, and the auction begins tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Today I think it's from 2 to 4.
2 to 4?
Yeah.
The viewing.
The viewing.
So view
It's died. It's
Ticket.
dead wood.
Sounds like, yeah. Sounds like a funeral.
I know. Let's hope it gets better.
Yeah, don't view it for, sadness. Go
But
view
it's
it
going
and
to
then
be,
buy it.
It's going to be a live auction.
A
see, so
live
they'll bring
auction.
Things
There you
from
go,
dead
bring
back
it back.
to live.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's a miracle. Another Christmas miracle. Okay, so go on.
We have the Newmont Mining will display its custom-made gold Harley chopper today at CSI's brand new Applied Technology building. It's part of a recruitment and information session from CSI's industrial maintenance program and starts in January. Come into the Applied Technology Building on the north side of campus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. today. Free information, great careers after just 1 year of training.
All right.
The Santa 5K run starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow from the CSI gym. No entry fee. Just bring a nice new unwrapped toy for a boy or a girl, and these are going to go to Toys for Tots. There will be a Santa Run merchandise for the sale, and the proceeds go toward trail maintenance at CSI.
All right.
That's nice.
We're scooting right along here.
Oh,
Yeah. So start talking, Kel.
The CSI Theater Department play Fruitcakes runs Wednesday through Saturdays through December 13th. This is a sweet Christmas story about a wacky little town where everyone seems to be made of a fruitcake. It's 7:30 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday at the Fine Arts Theater, and the admission is $8 for adults and $6 for students.
I now know another use for fruitcake, right?
Yeah,
Be
I was gonna
made
say,
from
I
it.
know a few towns like this.
Oh, goodness. That's right. There are fruitcakes everywhere.
Yes, there are. The Magic Valley Symphony and lots of musical guests will do one more performance of The Many Moods of Christmas at 7:30 p.m. tonight in the Fine Arts Auditorium.
Now that's the symphony and the chorale, Magic Valley Chorale.
That's
get together,
right.
yeah.
I know. I wonder how it went
So-
last night.
I'm sure it went well. Probably had
Yeah.
to turn people away, tell them to come
That's
back
why
tonight.
they had tonight.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want more music in your December month, the CSI Madrigals will present their holiday show, Sing We Now of Christmas, at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow in the Fine Arts Auditorium.
Okay, I just have a question. Being of the Jewish faith, do Christians ever get tired of Christmas music? I mean, there's like 100 different shows. Do you ever seriously, do people go to all of these? And is there a limit for you guys ever? No, really, I'm curious.
Well,
does it get tiresome or is it just...
I get a little tired of listening to certain Christmas songs, but there are some Christmas songs I could listen to year-round. I get tired of Grandma Got Run Over by a
Me
Reindeer.
too, but I still sing it for my grandma every year.
Oh, bless your heart.
But no,
You know.
really, it's like all these shows, and I'm like, would someone go to all these shows? Would they get tired of them?
Well, I think people just enjoy the performances, and so I don't know.
I was just asking.
I don't know. I can't
Just
answer.
asking. I know Nate's been doing Christmas music
Yeah,
since
I know.
November 10th. I just had a question.
I like Christmas music, but I can get tired of anything for, if there's
Except donuts.
well,
I
true,
think,
yeah. I don't
I
get
think that
tired
if
of
you
donuts.
don't get tired of something, like if you can be and have something all the time, I think you may be crazy. Like in the bad way crazy. Maybe.
That might be. I don't know.
I don't know. I was just
Because
curious.
I'm with you. Everybody gets sick of something. They
Yeah,
can't like everything
after a
all
while.
the
Well,
time.
you shop, you hear it. You go to
I mean,
every
even-
program, you hear it. You've got a radio station, 24 hours, you hear it. I just was curious. I know I have a limit, but I probably normally would have a limit. But I just didn't know if actually people celebrate have a limit.
Well, I'm sure there are some people who could listen to Christmas music all the time. There are radio stations in this country that
play
do
Christmas
nothing
all
but
the
play
time.
Christmas music year-round.
No way.
Yes,
Are
way.
you kidding?
Way, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
you
just
know-
because it's on doesn't mean they have to listen.
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
right. That's why God put the on-off button and the tuner button on.
Do you want to
there,
hear the
so-
one funny thing? You know, my mom came in this July for Ice Cream Fun Day, so I took her to the concert in the park because, it was nice and whatever. It was Christmas in July. I'm like, are you kidding me? Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
my.
that one time.
Well,
Oy
they're
vey, that's all I
attempt to
could say.
Cool you off a little
Exactly.
Oy
bit.
vey.
They know you.
Yeah. Well, Ella Donahue, thank you. I guess we won't see you for a while. You'll be back
No,
next
you'll
week.
be here
back
next
next
week.
Okay, it's next
and
week.
then
After
the
next
following,
week.
and then I won't be back till January 30th.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Well, we'll see you next time then.
Okay.
And this is Top Story. We're going to talk about the Idaho Lottery next here on News Radio 1310 KLIX. 7360300 is always the number to call. Welcome back to Top Story. Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly.
It's like 35 this morning.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
We're going to talk about putting cameras on policemen here pretty quickly. But right now we have Dave Workman from the Idaho Lottery. Dave is the guy with all the money. Good morning, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know if
Dave.
I have all of the money, but at least I have all the tickets.
Yeah,
Ah, I know.
In fact, he gave us some to give away, so we'll figure out a way to give some of these away here after a while.
And you have no idea if they're winning tickets or not.
I
do you,
couldn't even
Dave?
begin to tell you.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
There you go.
I have no clue.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
I know you got a chance to win $50,000 on the tickets I just gave you.
Is that right?
Whoa.
So are they scratch off? What kind of
Yeah,
tickets
those
are
are
these?
those are scratch tickets. That's $5 Snow Me the Money ticket.
Snow me the money. Who comes up with all your cute little phrases and the cute ads they have on TV?
Do you have contests?
Internally, we have offered contests in the past.
One who comes up with the winning slogan gets a fistful of tickets.
Yeah.
Right. Or, we actually did do a naming contest a couple of years ago, and some lady from up north, Kathy Lancaster, won $300 worth of her own tickets that she got to name. That was called Buck Buck Moose.
Buck Moose.
Yeah,
Buck Moose.
Yeah,
That's
Buck Moose. Yeah, it was a $1 scratch ticket that we had. For the holiday tickets, we get together usually late spring, early summer. So, it'll be 100 degrees outside, and we're playing Christmas music, and we'll start thinking about the holidays. And
you guys come up with these slogans?
Yeah, we come up with all of them ourselves.
Wow. Does each state do their own like that?
Every state is different in how they approach things. So I know that for our purposes that we come up with our own game names. We do our own artwork in-house.
Oh, wow.
So
you don't have an ad agency that does that then, huh?
No, we do have an ad agency, but they don't design any of the artwork for the tickets or anything like that. We have two very talented graphic artists.
So you guys do all the work and they get all the money.
No, they don't get all the money either.
Okay.
No,
I love your TV ads, though. Those are
you
quite
pay them
great.
lottery tickets, right? Well, Here you go. You might get some money, you might not.
So what else? You got something else going on here. A first holiday shopping spree draw?
Right. Exactly. We've got for every single non-winning scratch ticket that's a holiday-themed ticket this year, you can enter it for a chance to win one of two $5,000 shopping sprees that we're offering, one right before Christmas and then one right after the New Year. So that's kind of like a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from us.
So they should pull them out of the trash can, and then what do they do with it? Now, how do you enter it?
You basically go online, and you could do it through the VIP club, or you can do it through our tele-entry system, either one.
Okay, but hang on to your losing tickets.
Your non-winning tickets, keep on to those. And,
non-winning.
Non-winning.
They're losers, okay, Dave? They're losers.
They're non-winning. They just didn't win.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, that's kind of fun. All right.
No, so we've got that going on. And then, of course, the big ticket item this time of the year is the $1 million raffle.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me, Dave. How do you do that one?
It's a $10 ticket. You buy the ticket. The drawing is on New Year's Eve. Guaranteed.
Is it just once a year?
Once a year. It's just like Christmas. It comes once a year. And
where do you buy the tickets?
Any place lottery products are sold. It's
I bought one last year.
Did you?
Obviously, I didn't win.
Clearly.
Yeah, you're still here.
I'm still here.
So,
only for a few more days.
Only for a few more days. At the end of the year, then you're going to win again, right?
Oh, no, I'm retiring.
Oh, you're retiring.
He's retiring.
But that $1 million would really help pad my retirement.
That would do a good job, I think.
Yeah.
Actually.
So, Dave, you can buy the raffle tickets now until the
end of December.
And so,
or until the 250,000th ticket is sold.
So you only sell 250,000.
Right. It's a limited draw. So when all tickets are gone, they're gone, and we draw, and somebody's going to be holding a ticket worth $1 million.
And there's definitely a winner.
Absolutely guaranteed. I will be giving somebody a check for $1 million in early January.
Who won last year?
It was a really nice family from out in the country, just outside of Caldwell. The Massoff family. It was the mom and daughter and sister, I believe, the three of them together. They won, and they were fantastic winners. They actually took $10,000 out of their winnings, went to Costco, bought a whole bunch of food, and donated it to the Idaho Food Bank.
Sweet.
Well, I'll be darned. Oh,
wow, and don't tell me it was the only ticket they ever bought in their whole life.
Gosh, no, are you kidding? They actually had purchased something around, I don't know, maybe about 10 tickets or so.
Oh.
For the raffle.
Wow.
Well, we're just about out of time, so what else we got to cover here in like 45 seconds?
In like 45 seconds. You know, it is the gift-giving season. We do like to remind people that it is not okay for minors, people under 18, to play or scratch tickets. So we don't encourage that as well. There are some folks who do that. But when you do play during the holiday season, if we do happen to get a big jackpot run, that generates a lot of extra excitement. $1 million raffle generates a lot of excitement, especially close to Christmas. So we do want to encourage everybody to please play responsibly this time of the year.
But they should give them like to their adult friends
for
stocking
absolutely.
stuffers.
Stocking stuffers,
Come
adult
on, Dave.
friends, and all of that. So yeah, they make great gifts during this time of the year.
Well, Dave, this sounds like fun. I'm going to do that $1 million raffle.
Yeah, I just happen to think if I were to win $1 million, that would really throw a crimp in my Social Security, so I may have to lay out this.
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think Social Security Administration will work with you on that.
Yeah.
We've had some experience
so will
with
the
that.
IRS.
Yeah, and the IRS.
Yeah, exactly.
What $1 million?
Dave Workman from Idaho Lottery. Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you guys so
Dave.
much.
Happy holidays.
We're going to talk about cameras on cops next here on Top Story. All righty, 7360300 is the number to call. Ask them about Certiset at Farmore of Idaho. See what they say. Certiset. With Certiset, irrigation system. No more spraying your borders around the fields to keep the pipe clear. No more costly labor to move the pipe in and out. Does this sound attractive to you? Well, if you're considering a change in your irrigation system or an upgrade this coming growing season, ask them about it at Farmore of Idaho, 324-3341 or farmoreofidaho.com. I tell you, technology is just making all sorts of cool inroads in agriculture.
Yeah.
And it is
You
very,
can
very
look
cool.
over your fields. You can see what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
many
just
things.
amazing. They got
Soon you'll
the-
just sit on your, the
infrared
lazy
there.
boy and water your fields.
Pretty
Which
much,
I think they
yeah.
can do now. They
They
can look
can.
at cameras.
The pivots are remote controlled.
Don't
and they
have
got
to miss the game.
cameras. Man, I'll tell you what. I mean, tractors drive themselves now with the GPS. You can just stay in your easy chair and farm all summer. Stay in where it's air conditioned.
What's it going to be like WALL-E? You said like the movie WALL-E?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody has seen that or
No,
not.
but you told me about it.
It's WALL-E. It's this little robot. It's an animated movie, but everybody has robots and machinery that does things for them. So people's legs and arms and everything, they just kind of go limp due to atrophy.
Yeah.
And it's almost a prophetic movie.
It's sick. It's
Because
sick.
that's what's happening.
I
mean,
know.
robots are taking over everything.
Or just services and conveniences.
Yes.
When I was living in Brookline, Mass, I ordered from Peapod. They delivered my groceries. I was like, this is the best thing ever. You could order them on, as you're sitting there in a chair.
Do you ever stop and think, if we took our society today and took it back 150 years
Mm-hmm.
to where people had to go out every day and get their sustenance, they had to go out and they had to hunt and they had to fish and they had to grow their own food.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody did it. If you didn't, you went hungry. Can you imagine our society having to go back and live like they did then? We would all die.
What a diet it would be.
We would all,
It'd be the next new diet fad. Wow. Right now
Well,
we're drinking our meals.
We would all
we don't
die.
Even we don't even chew anymore. Oh, for gosh sakes! I've had a smoothie. Okay, why don't you actually chew and eat some fiber? Okay, that plucking my last nerve on that one.
Yeah.
Go on, Cal.
Okay, well, anyway, wanted to talk about putting cameras on cops. Okay, there's an article in the Times News this morning talking about some of the police forces around the Magic Valley area that have used clip-on cameras on the officer's person for several years, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Nampa has 64 patrol officers that have body cameras. They've been using those for 4 years. Grant paid for about 80 of them, and department money bought about 50 more. They got 113 sworn officers there. Meridian's 69 officers will get body cameras next spring. The city council there approved $338,000 for a 5-year contract. Canyon County Sheriff's deputies have used the cameras for 8 years. The first 40 bought partly by federal grants. Reason this is all coming about, of course, is because of the cops having to shoot or kill other people, and so they think that putting cameras on all the cops is going to fix all of this.
Well, they have statistics that where they've put cameras on cops, like people's complaints, things have gone down like 80%. They've had huge statistics like that.
I don't doubt it, really.
And, what is the downside? But I find it interesting that in Twin Falls, we have 72 sworn officers, and Captain Anthony Barnhart said it would cost somewhere between $340,000 and $400,000. But when you divide that out, it's $4,722 a camera. But some of these people are saying, $800 is the most for a camera. Some have $350 cameras,
yeah.
$400 cameras. So my question, too, is why would you have to have 72 cameras? There's only so many officers that are on duty at a certain time. Can't you purchase for the shift that's out there and switch it up?
And maybe over time add to it if you needed to.
Yeah, if you had to. But,
Well,
to say it's so expensive when...
Well, the one glaring thing in this article, and I don't know if it was a misprint or what happened, but according to, you're right, the Twin Falls police said it'd take $340,000 to $400,000 to equip the force with cameras for the 72 officers.
And that would be $4,722 a camera.
The town of Filer has equipped their 5 officers with cameras for $350 a piece.
I know.
So 350 times 5 is what, $3,000? You're working it out on your calculator there.
$1,750.
$1,750.
But you were close, Kelly.
I was close. Hey.
But if you do 350 times 72, we've got $25,200.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a far cry from the 400.
Yeah. So I don't know where to get that. But I don't know what all is involved or anything like that. But I'm thinking realistically, if you want to do it, you may be able to do it without spending $340,000 to $400,000 and still accomplish the same thing. The problem of it is so many entities anymore think that when they do something, they have to go to some experts, and the experts have to charge them some humongous amount of money in order to do the same thing that you could do on your own for a fraction of the cost.
Well,
but at any rate, I'm kind of getting off the beaten trail here because, okay, cost is one thing. I understand that. But putting cameras on the police. Now, I have to tell you, whenever we have the police who come in here, I'm always amazed at the stuff that they have on their belt.
Yep, they have a lot on their belt.
They've got their gun, they've got their taser, they've got handcuffs, they've got extra magazines for their guns, they've got a nightstick or at least
and
a
they
place
don't let
to
me
put
use
it.
anything on you. Nothing. I've asked.
And God knows you've tried.
I have.
So,
can I use the taser one segment, please?
And they're carrying all of this stuff, know, and then they've got their stuff in their pockets and everything. It's amazing when they have to chase a bad guy, when the bad guy's out there in a tank top and a pair of cutoffs and running all over the place, and these cops have to run after them and capture them. But
so what's your point? It's
my
one camera
point
to
is
clip on?
The cops are already carrying a huge amount of stuff anyway. Now they have to carry a camera. So although the cameras aren't, I know they're not that they're not that big, they're not that heavy. I actually think it would be a good idea for both sides.
I would think they would want to.
If we could do that. Because it not only protects the alleged bad person, but it also protects the policeman. Because the policemen also have that proof there. And case in point is the Eric Garner case in New York City. Everybody now is wanting to, again, crucify the police because they claim they killed him. But the video actually shows that he was fighting them.
Kelly,
if they didn't have that proof, the grand jury said that there was nothing to indict.
The coroner said it was a homicide by chokehold. So there's a discrepancy of what happened.
But the grand jury said no.
No, they didn't say he didn't die by the chokehold. He obviously died. He's dead.
Yes, but there was no charges
That doesn't mean that he didn't die of a chokehold. He didn't kill himself. He died of a chokehold on a sidewalk. But the point is, don't you think they'd want us to use this? Don't you think, as a cop, don't you think as the public you'd want it? I mean, there's been so many discrepancies that we've heard. Let's see what's happening. Let's do it. And I'm sorry, but the Cleveland Police Department, they've tried to hide video from stuff, and they are so bad. They've had to the feds have to control them. It's out of control what's going on in Cleveland.
So, cameras on cops, what do you think? Good idea or bad? 7360300, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
On cops, what do you think? Good idea or bad?
Oh, you got to turn on your radio.
Story, you're on the air. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay.
Maybe he'll hear that part.
I actually never get to hear us, so let's enjoy us a little bit here, shall we?
Yeah, let's hear us twice.
He'll hear that.
Oh, okay. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, you two. I'm going to say I'm all in favor of it. I think it's a really good thing. It's a really good technology, and it'll be very useful in very numerous, very many situations. I think it's like anything, though, that can be misused. There can be mistreatment of it. If you remember just a little while back, people were really up in arms about drones and police using those. And, like I say, I'm all for that, too, as long as it's used correctly and there's no misuse. It's just like any number of technologies that are available to policemen.
Yeah, I agree with the drone thing. It makes you wonder where it's going to stop, because there is going to be misuse. And I imagine with the body cameras, and although most police agencies, although I don't think the Twin Falls Police Department have been using dash cams for quite some time.
Well, yeah.
I know the Idaho State Police does.
And those, they said they have,
Yeah.
but for some reason, the clip-on cameras, they haven't been used for Twin Falls Police or Twin Falls County Sheriffs. I mean, Nampa's used it, Meridian's used it, Canyon County, Filer, I think, didn't Doug McFall talk about it? Didn't Jerome? Weren't they saying that?
I don't know if they are, but I think Gooding uses it.
Gooding, but we
So,
don't? I
yeah.
mean, why not? And we're just getting bigger and bigger. So it's just a matter of time.
I wouldn't be surprised if eventually you're going to see that as part of required attire on police.
I mean, I don't see the downside. I mean, the cost, it didn't, I don't know. It sounds like some are more.
The cost doesn't make sense to me.
No, that one
but,
doesn't make sense.
I don't know all the facts either. 7360300 is the number to call. Let's see. What do we got here? We got one in here. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Number to call.
Okay, who is that?
Somebody's playing around.
Stop playing with us. Come on, ask us a question.
All right, let's see what we got here. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. You keep getting the same call.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, who is it?
It's not me.
A robocall.
Oh, it's some goofball with a low IQ playing around.
Oh, now I can't talk. Hey, I'm for the cameras. The whole thing about this is it's about authority. In this country, I worked for the school district. There's a thing about authority that nobody wants to respect anymore.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And authority can be abused.
Well, it can be.
And so can power.
It can be. I agree, but you still have to respect it. And if a police officer pulls you over, you go, yes, sir, and you respect the police officer. You don't throw your hands up and try to hit him in the mouth.
Okay, we must have seen a different video. But you know what? A lot of people are, that's a whole nother topic, but whatever. Cameras, no cameras. I think cameras are helpful.
Yeah, I think we're going that direction. I think it's going to.
How could you not?
There can be times when it can be bad for the cop, I'm sure, and there are things that the cop will be able to see that maybe the camera can't, or that we as a civilian won't understand. It's like handling livestock. There are things that go on ranches that the civilian wouldn't understand, but if you're a livestockman, that's the only way it works.
But you know what? Sometimes there are cops that cross the line, and people
absolutely.
need to know that.
I'm not going to deny that.
So,
7360300.
A video says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So, but the money deal, I don't know about that. 300.
I'm not sure we're Captain Barnhart, and we love you, Captain Barnhart, but that figure isn't in line with the other figures we're seeing here. I mean, for 72 cops, that's $4,122, $77.
7360300. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
$1,122. Okay, stop calling us. How does that work? Is it just they're on hold and it keeps calling?
They just got the radio turned up and they hold the phone there because it's probably one of those people who don't have a job because they got nothing else to do. So
I don't know. Maybe you should say that one again.
Let's see. Top story. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. There's so many cameras around now. It's actually catching a lot, even cops who don't think they're on camera. There'll be surveillance cameras where they're out on the street doing something and they get caught at that. There's more people who have their own dash cams now, which I wish I would have had a dash cam once when I had a left turn green arrow and a lady hit me going straight through and she insisted she had a green light, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? It's like at my church, we require 2 people to count money from the offering at all times, and it's to protect those people.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't complain about that. In fact, I will not count the money unless somebody's there with me.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's
so
that should be.
And if you ever go on YouTube, you can see some of this. You wonder how much bad cop stuff was happening before so many cameras around. You look at the statistics. Look on YouTube when they don't know they're on camera.
Right.
Yeah.
And
The only thing that worries me, though, is that we are a society that's going more and more to this, and now it's becoming commonplace. So we're all just kind of willing to go along with it. But there's something deep down that still tells me that, my gosh, we have certainly become an Orwellian society.
Well, when it's your word against them and the victim is dead, it's nice to have another side.
Coming up next, we're going to be talking to Rod Haynes about Medicare here on Top Story. And welcome back, 7360300, always the number to call. And welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Kelly. Same to you.
The Medicare open enrollment period is coming to a close here soon. And it seems like every year there are changes and things that you need to know about. And since Jill and I know almost everything, but not quite, sometimes we have to refer to experts.
We know nothing.
And that's what we've done today with Mr. Rod Haynes from the Seattle Medicare Medicaid office. Good morning, Rod.
Always good to have you back, Rod.
Hey, happy holidays, guys.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Same to you. So when is the deadline for open enrollment for Medicare?
The 7th of December, which would make it Sunday. You want to have made your decisions and either gone to 1-800-Medicare or gone online to Medicare.gov to dial in your choices for 2015.
Rod, is it odd that it's on a Sunday?
It is. It's
okay.
It's also Pearl Harbor Day, whatever that means. But
yeah.
You can sign up through Sunday. Hopefully, folks have taken a good look. And as I've said in the past, Jill, it's always good every year to look at things like formulary, which is your drug list, to make sure the drugs that you were taking in the past year are still on it. So you want to do an annual checkup. That's always really important.
And also, some people might, I mean, it's not just Medicare, but if they have any Medicare Advantage or other plans like that, some of them are being canceled.
Exactly. And we haven't discussed this in the past. There's two really quick pieces I'd like to expand on that we haven't talked about in the past. One is the star rating system. Well, what is that? Each plan, the Medicare Advantage plans in particular, have a 1 to 5 star rating. In the state of Idaho, the highest, I believe, is like a 4.5. So you won't have the perfect 5-star rating, but each and every plan has a rating. It's about quality. And if you've got a Medicare and You booklet, which every Medicare beneficiary should have received in October, it's red, white, and blue, and everybody gets it in the mail. In the back, you can start learning about the quality of the different plans.
So if somebody, for some reason, under the sun, did not get that book, are there copies available? Can they get it online?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You want to call 1-800-Medicare, and the key is, they'll know it already, but you want to identify that you're calling from Idaho because each of these red, white, and blue booklets are state specific. So in calling 1-800-Medicare, you will be able to obtain that booklet. I think it's a good thing to have. Even, we're almost at the deadline, but to have it as a playbook, if you will, for the whole year is a very good idea. You want a 2015, that's a coming year, Medicare and You booklet for the state of Idaho.
So, Rod, when you have the different rating systems, so what does it mean if for some reason you signed up for a program and then you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, it's 1 star. What is that? And you're panicking because you already signed up for it. What can you do, or can you do anything?
Well, it's going to be driven by when you're looking at it. If you're looking at it beyond the open enrollment period, you're pretty much locked in. But you raise a very good point, Jill. There's one important additional period that your listening audience should know about. Between the 1st of January and the second week of February, I'm talking about the first 6 weeks of 2015, that's the disenrollment period. I know I don't want to confuse you guys, but it's important, where you can terminate from your Medicare Advantage plan. Now, everybody's saying, wait a minute, we have this open enrollment period. Now he's talking about a disenrollment period. Well, I am, because the first 6 weeks of the new year, you can terminate from your Medicare Advantage plan and go back to original Medicare and a Part D plan. What cannot happen is you go from one Medicare Advantage plan to another one. You can only go from a Medicare Advantage plan back to original Medicare in Part D. How many of you have I confused with that?
Yeah. And I'm just sitting here because I'm not on Medicare yet, but I'm getting close to that point. So I'm one of those who haven't paid a whole lot of attention to it yet. So when you start talking about the Part D and the Part A and the C and X and Y and Z, maybe we better go over those real quickly.
No, A, B, C, and D. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay. Part A is hospitalization. That's when you literally are going to go into the facility, go into the hospital. Part B is what we call outpatient. B as in boy. When you go and see a doctor and you do not get you're not going into the hospital, admitted to the hospital, that's Part B. For those two, for Part A, the deductible for the coming year is going to increase to $1,216. What do I mean? For Part A, when you go into the hospital, beneficiaries will pay a deductible of $1,216. It's $44 more than the current year. Now for Part B, which is B as in boy, which is outpatient, the premium for this year was $104.90. That will remain unchanged for the coming year. So we've done two of them. I've talked about Part A. I've talked about Part B. Part C, as in Charlie, that's like going and buying a plan, Pacific Source, Blue Cross, Select Health. Those are all examples of Part C plans. That means generally that they cover A and B together, which is why we call it C. It's a government, just what it is.
Right.
Lastly, I've talked about A, B, C. Now we're going to talk about Part D like David. Part D is typically standalone drug plans, which all it covers is your prescriptions. Not often, but sometimes folks, when they come into Medicare, they do this. They're on original Medicare. They want to buy what's called the supplement that goes with their original Medicare so they can go to any doctor they choose that takes Medicare. And the third slice of the pie is they get a Part D drug plan, so they have three pieces together. They got original Medicare, which is A and B. They got their supplement plan, and they got Part D as in drugs.
Okay.
So, to understand everything I've just said, just realize this. Folks typically have two fundamental choices. You either go with a Medicare Advantage plan, which is A and B, or you can stay with your original Medicare. Those are the two fundamental choices that your audience has. And what the open enrollment period allows you to do is to switch between your Medicare Advantage or Part C, if you want to go back to your original Medicare.
But Rod, everyone has to be part of Part D unless they opt out, and then they'll be fined forever.
That's
correct?
A very good point. Let's say that you do not have any kind of retiree drug coverage, and those plans are disappearing really quick. Most retiree plans are now beginning to not have drug coverage. If you do not have a retiree drug plan that's as good as Part D like David, it is very important that you have a Medicare Part D drug plan. If you choose not to, and then you have a stroke and 3 years later you need what we call maintenance drugs for the rest of your life, you're going to get a penalty. And folks say, well, why should I have to pay for this when I don't need it? Well, you pay for it now so when you need it later, if that makes sense.
And also, well, it's like the mandate, the same thing.
It is.
Yeah,
there's disputes about it. Some folks don't. I don't want to go into that, but there are some folks who are for it and some are not, and I respect both.
Right. Okay. So.
So we've covered a lot already. I would point out there, as I always do, my good friends at the Idaho SHIBA, SHIBA, and they're part of the Department of Insurance. if your listening audience wants information about plans right where they live, they can call the Senior Health Insurance Benefit Advisors, or the short term is SHIBA, at 800-247-4422. Again, they are with the Department of Insurance in Idaho, and they're really terrific. They can walk you through things at a very local level. I'm a Fed. I deal with plans in 4 different states. What the SHIBA office offers is very local knowledge about situation in Twin Falls or in South Central Idaho and so forth.
I guess the comforting part of this is to know that we don't have to work all this out on our own.
Absolutely correct. And the resources you have, and I know it's repetitive, you got 800 Medicare, you got Medicare.gov, and you got SHIBA, you got the Idaho folks. There's a number of different sources to go to. We know that not everybody is internet savvy. We have roughly a third of the senior population that still shy away or don't care to work with computers. So it's not necessary that you are computer savvy to be able to navigate all this. And I know I've said so much really fast here, but you can get it in a much slower pace if you call either 1-800-Medicare or you call the SHIBA office. You can get it at your pace, not at a real fast pace like I just covered.
Yeah.
Rod, with the enrollment period ending on Sunday, are the lines going to be open Saturday or Sunday?
All the time. They're not open Christmas, which doesn't factor into our discussion, but they're open every other day of the year, 24 hours. And you raise another good point, as you and Kelly always do, Jill, and that is calling off hours is advantageous. You're not in line and waiting for a long time. If you have insomnia, if you're say you're working your second shift or whatever you're doing, if you call at 10 o'clock at night or at midnight, the chances of getting a faster pickup is really, you have a much better chance if you call off hours.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing I was going to ask is, who qualifies for Medicare? You might go over that because there's differences with numbers for Social Security, but what are the requirements for Medicare to qualify?
Well, you got to work 10 quarters. Actually, they're 40 quarters or 10 years, and that's the bottom line. For folks who have been paying Medicare through their payroll at work, 10 years of qualified work will qualify you for Medicare. And typically what happens is some folks who are disabled do qualify for Medicare before the age of 65. But in the typical American citizen scenario, they've worked their 40 quarters, their 10 years, they turn 65, and then they have a 7-month window within which to enroll. So,
Rod, hang on one sec. We're going into a break.
Yeah, and that brings up a question for me.
Yeah,
so
me too.
We'll be right back here on Top Story with Rod Haynes from the Seattle Medicare Medicaid office, and the number is 736-0300. 736-0300 is the number to call. We'll get back to Rod Haynes with the Seattle Medicare Medicaid office in just a second. Just have to mention that the word of the day brought to you today by the Happy Landing Restaurant at the Twin Falls Airport.
That's right.
Where you can go to eat anytime you like. Well, not anytime you like. They are closed during the night, but I mean, you don't have to be traveling in order to eat there.
That's right.
You don't have to go through metal detectors or through the TSA or anything to get into the restaurant. It's you can just go there. If that were the case, I wouldn't be able to eat there.
Oh my goodness! You have to get frisked to get into the Happy Landing Restaurant.
You don't have to. See,
no frisking.
That's right.
You can keep your shoes on.
That's right. And for first-time visitors, tell them that you heard about it with Kelly and Jill. If you buy a drink or a meal, they'll give you a free piece of homemade pie at the Happy Landing Restaurant at the Twin Falls Airport. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Angie Villarreal.
Angie Villarreal, congratulations.
I think I did a pretty good job pronouncing that name, too,
I
Villarreal.
Think so. Yeah.
And your $100 word of the day for today is Santa.
Santa.
Santa. S-A-N-T-A. Go to our website, newsradio1310.com. Click on Word of the Day. Type in Santa, listen Monday. If you hear your name Monday and you played the word today, you'll win $100. Just like
That's
that.
how easy that is.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got Rod Haynes from the Seattle Medicare Medicaid office. Okay, so in your last statement, you brought up a couple of questions in my mind. So you say you have to work 10 years in order to be able to be eligible for Medicare. Is that correct?
I did say that. I said there were 10 eligible years, and that's driven by, generally ask the Human Resource Department whether you are contributing to the Medicare system, and that will tell you that you're working towards the 10 years. It's just not everybody. There are restrictions, but generally, if you're paying into your Medicare taxes for 10 years, that's what I meant to say, that you become eligible for Medicare at the age of 65.
Rod, is it over the course of your working life, or does that be 10 years in a row?
Okay.
Right. No. Do not think consecutively.
Okay.
Think total of 10 years,
Okay.
And the other... Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. The other question I had was, what raised my mind is, what if you're a working mom and you've stayed home your whole life? You would never qualify for Medicare?
Yeah, you do qualify. You could call the Social Security office, but you'd qualify on the fact that your husband is married. And there are provisions for divorcees. You would be eligible under your husband and so forth. So there are a number being government of complicated arrangements where you would definitely qualify. Those who have worked but at home their whole life, would be covered. That's an excellent question. One thing that we didn't talk about that I think is important to emphasize is regarding the Affordable Care Act, what the public calls Obamacare, and it relates to Medicare. And this is an important thing for the listening audience to understand. If you are on Medicare and someone tries to market an Affordable Care Act, or what some folks call Obamacare product, to you, it is illegal for them to sell you an Obamacare product if you have Medicare. I know I pivoted a little bit off the point you were raising, but it's something I wanted to get out there. It's not permissible under law for folks who have Medicare to be covered, or purchase, rather, is a better word, your Obamacare health coverage. That's just something that I wanted to emphasize today.
So it's like having an extra insurance plan. I mean, you have Medicare, you can't having two insurance plans.
Right, and it's burdensome. Financially, it really takes a hack out of your wallet to have both coverages, but it's not legal to do that. So I just thought I'd mention that. I know that we weren't going down that path.
I think that's important because people are getting all sorts of misinformation, and they might get something in the mail and they don't know, and it's an older population, and I think scams could be involved, or just not being aware. So I think it's good.
And I'll give you a very good example of that. The website for folks to in different states to learn more about the Affordable Care Act is healthcare.gov. But now there's websites, healthcare.com and .org, that are very similar to healthcare.gov, and folks go to the wrong website and then they start buying insurance that is not.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They get drawn off. But I know that's not the point of our discussion today.
But that's a good point.
It is a good point.
It is, yeah.
Because your listening audience has brothers, sisters, sons, daughters that will be getting into or have been purchasing these products. Don't go to healthcare.org or .com. You want to go to healthcare.gov. Now, the last thing I'll say, and if you want to ask questions, it's great, is that the state of Idaho is a state-based exchange now. No longer is it a federal exchange. That means that the state itself is marketing Affordable Care Act products starting in the year 2015. It's no longer under the federal. But that's not our discussion today. I just thought I'd throw that in there. So.
Okay. Well, hey, we appreciate it, Rod, as always, and thank you
Rod, do we have anything else we need to cover? Because we can keep you another segment.
Yes, I want to know about the Happy Landing restaurant.
Oh, we'll have that conversation on the phone.
A free piece of pie.
Thanks, Rod. We got to go.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Rod.
it. 7360300, the number to call here on Top Story. As always, we got a story about a Utah mom who wants some of the places to sell magazines to cover up some of the soft porn magazines in their stores. And we'll get to that here in just a minute. We'll see what you think about that. But I wanted to tell you about the folks at Canyon Pawn, Twin Falls' newest pawn shop. They've got guns. They've got rings. They've got watches. They'll take stuff in on pawn. You know, with Christmas coming up, you might want to get somebody a special present, but you don't quite have enough money to do it. You got something to pawn, they'll do that for you at Canyon Pawn. And we've been in there on several occasions. Well, you've been in there once. I've been in there twice now. We need to go back just to, kind of keep up with the Joneses. Keep up with the hands.
Are you going to buy something for me?
I don't know. I already did.
Did you buy it?
No, but somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere I probably bought some of the supplies that went into it.
Did
yes,
you?
I did.
Hey, are you done with your ad?
Not yet.
Well,
I just wanted to tell you to get down to Canyon Pawn and tell Dave Hansen and the crew hi. They got some great stuff there. If they don't have what you're looking for today, they probably will have it tomorrow. And they're on Shoshone Street, right across from Will's Toyota. You can give them a call if you're looking for something special at 933-2600. Okay.
Okay, we just wanted to go over those numbers real quickly again, because we kind of ended with Rod abruptly. But the enrollment period is through this Sunday, December 7th. You can call 24 hours a day. They will answer the phone, 1-800-MEDICARE. You can go to medicare.gov. Make sure it's gov, not .com, not .net. It's medicare.gov.
Well, yeah, and also it was on the healthcare. It was the healthcare.gov, not .com.
Well, you can go to medicare.gov, but you can also go to, was it Idaho?
Healthcare.idaho.gov.
Okay.
You want to make sure you get the gov in the back and not .com or .org.
Right. It's always gov. Yeah. And then if you want to call the local office, it's 800-247-4422, 1-800-247-4422. And this is it. If you don't enroll during this period by the December 7th, you're going to have to wait till the next enrollment period, which is October 15th next year.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just feel better now because I want to make sure they had the information.
Absolutely. All right.
Because that's what we do.
There is from the Associated Press, story of a mother in Utah who is pushing her city council to consider taking action to require that stores cover certain magazines to shield kids from images and language she says are inappropriate. The council in the Salt Lake City suburb of Sandy isn't taking any action yet, but they were receptive to the idea during a meeting where Adrian Thiergsons spoke about the damage done to children who are exposed to racy images and words on magazine covers.
Oh, damaging.
Yeah, the Thiergson says that she was spurred to take action after her 7-year-old son asked her about a magazine cover that had language she considered as pornographic.
But I would like to know what that language was. I mean, they're magazines. You can only do so much. The really bad magazines do have covers and are somewhere else and covered up, but, it was Cosmo.
Could very well have been.
Cosmopolitan magazine.
There are some words.
So what?
Pornographic stuff is really subjective. What is pornographic to some person might not be pornographic to the next person.
I'd like to know what the word was.
Well, I would too, and it's probably more than one word. But I have to tell you, I have been in stores too where I have seen pictures on some of these magazines that are right out there in front of God and everybody.
And you just can't look away, can you? And you're like, thank goodness they're in this aisle and this checkout line.
I'm thinking, how in the world why do they want to do this? How can they get away with this? I mean, and look at it. You'd walk down the mall and you see these big, huge posters up in some of these stores with these these women and men too, who barely have anything on. I'm thinking, how in the world do you
their
get away with that?
They're merchandising, they're advertising.
Understood.
But I mean,
keep
really,
them
in the checkout. Oh, well, now they don't even want to do that. But what I'm saying is, like, okay, she deems something pornographic. You see magazine covers. Sometimes they have swimsuits on. Sometimes they have shorts on. You don't see anything too racy more than that. They could be Shape magazine where they're in a workout outfit. I mean, what are you supposed to do if they're in a bathing suit? That's a problem. It might be a good teaching moment. If it's some term, why don't you talk to them about it? Like, this is what happened, da-da-da. Why don't you start talking about the birds and the bees, or maybe, whatever. Who knows what her term was? But if she doesn't like it, then maybe she should do her grocery shopping without her kids. I mean, really. Come on, the whole world has to change.
Kids. You can't go in this grocery store. It's too pornographic.
What word could it be? Some people say when you have a short skirt, that's a problem.
Could have been the F
What
word.
is her standard? They would
the
never
F word.
put that on a magazine cover.
What? Are you kidding me?
Cosmopolitan. Are you kidding me? No
Maybe
one
it
would
wasn't
put
Cosmo. Maybe it was some of the others.
They said it was Cosmopolitan. I mean, I've never seen a magazine cover with the F word on there or any obscene language on there.
I think there's plenty of room for store owners to cover up some of the covers on these magazines.
Why? Because one woman thinks one thing is pornographic?
Maybe she's not the only one.
Where are they?
And so what if she does think it? Then she does.
So what?
Don't you want to please your customers?
What? As opposed to 10?
What would it harm to be a little more decent?
We'll
be right back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story, talking about a lady in Utah who wants the city council to push store owners to cover up some of the magazines in their racks because of scantily clad people and some of the language on them. So
would they have to go to her every time and say, what do you think is bad here? Because I don't think it's bad, but you tell us, come in every week and let us know which magazines you find offensive, and then we'll be happy to cover them up and then not sell them because no one can see them.
All right. Well, let's see what our callers have to say about this. Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. Hey, Kelly, congratulations on your upcoming retirement. That's really good for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Hey, what I wanted to talk about, it's kind of to do with the magazine. It's several years ago when I lived in northern Idaho. One of my close friends was a police officer, and he had to go up and protect those Nazis, the skinheads, while they were marching and doing their First Amendment thing. And shortly thereafter, up in Moscow, there was some female students protesting some stuff, and they were going topless, and the police were in there arresting them. And I thought, that is extremely bizarre. I mean, I would much rather my children see a little nudity than Nazi crap.
Yeah.
I mean,
good point.
And, you're absolutely correct. What is pornographic is extremely
subjective.
People can, it could be very different from me to you to Jill.
I know.
And how far do you go? If I go in and say, hey, your candles, your religious candles are offensive, do they have to cover those up? I mean, where does it end?
Right.
I just don't know. I think we have a pretty good balance right as we're at.
Yeah, I don't, and you bring up some good points, but I don't know. I have been in stores where they had, I'm just talking regular stores, they have a magazine rack there, and you go through, and it's like, holy cow, they actually allow this kind of stuff.
They're not showing body parts. I mean, so what? They might have like a top that's low cut, or they might have whatever, but I go in there all the time, and I look at them. I look at all the covers because I like doing that. And so what? You might have someone in a bathing suit and shorts for Shape magazine, or so you have someone have a top. Big deal. So big deal.
Let's see what our next caller.
Back to the Puritan days? Gosh.
See what our next caller has to say. Top Story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to bring up the point that, we have a lot of people out there who are like of an atheist nature, and if they see a religious symbol, it has to be removed. This stuff has to be taken out of schools. It has to be taken out of government buildings, and it's a religious symbol. Now, you can't have it both ways, Jill. You can't have these people want it one way because they're offended and you think it's fine. So, how do you define that?
I think it's the Constitution. There is. The Constitution. It's government buildings. These are private businesses. So it is different.
A little bit more on this story is a guy by the name of McCandless. He's on the city council there in Sandy. He said he agrees with Thigerson that magazine content at stores is a problem. He said it's not only photographs on some magazine covers, but headlines and language that accompany them. He says the magazines that I saw, quite frankly, were fairly disgusting. He goes on, he declined to name the magazines to avoid disparaging an entire company. Thigerson said in a blog post, and this is the woman who made the original complaint, that the magazine her saw on was Cosmopolitan. Thigerson said Thursday that she wasn't available for a phone interview, but said by email, I don't believe the language on some publications is healthy for children. Many moms in our community feel the same way, so we approached the city with a concern. Thigerson said she isn't set on any one type of action and is willing to listen to other sides, saying she's just appreciative the council listened to her concerns. So she said this isn't the first time the issue of racy public images has led to a public backlash. Okay, she didn't say this. The AP did.
Yeah.
Where an estimated 2/3 of the residents are members of the Conservative Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In September, a pair of Utah women dedicated to pushing back against the objectification of women launched a campaign against Carl's Jr., saying the burger company had gone too far with its long-running line of TV ads featuring women in bikinis eating burgers in a seductive pose. I have seen some of those. Have you seen any of those?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, why would they do that? Not Carl's Jr., the women themselves. I would never do that.
For money. It's called, money.
But,
they'll do anything for money.
Well, I mean, at that point, you do have standards, too. You have your own personal standards. Why Paris Hilton or all these other ones are doing that, slopping on a car and eating a big burger, which they don't eat because they're size of a toothpick. Come on.
In February, a mother upset about indecent T-shirts with pictures of scantily dressed models in provocative poses on display at a Utah mall, bought them all from the PacSun store in an act of defiance. The Mormon Church recently launched a website to help people who struggle from pornography addiction, and the Utah Coalition Against Pornography holds an annual conference in Salt Lake City that draws thousands. So, I don't know. This would be kind of interesting to see where it goes.
Why would you buy all the T-shirts? And then what are you doing with them? Now your family has them all over the house.
Well,
thousands of T-shirts.
Probably
Why?
destroyed them. Probably destroyed them.
You know what? Where does it end? Was it next book burning?
Well, she certainly had the right to do that.
She could buy what she wants, but
she's not going to the city council and saying, you pass a law. She just say, you know what? I'll just buy them up and throw them away.
That's fine, but where does it end? My gosh, you don't like it? Order your groceries in then. Here you go.
And here's the Huckabee Report. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and the number is 736-6563. And don't forget, Clearwater Power Equipment has Husqvarna and Echo chainsaws. If you're in the market, and hey, this would be great, and I hesitate to say, for the husband or the man.
Because a woman can use a good old chainsaw too.
Absolutely.
And you better watch it, mister.
I know.
I might get one.
I know. But in reality, probably most chainsaws are handled by men.
Oh,
okay?
Geez. Why do you even say that? It doesn't even have to be said. Just talk about the chainsaw and their great products they have.
They've got chainsaws and great products.
Thank you.
At Clearwater Power Equipment. So stop in and see them. They got log splitters. They've got snow blowers. They got lawnmowers for the summertime. They got a storage program so you can take your lawnmower and they'll store it for you for the winter. So you ask them about that, and if you're planning on, getting a new chainsaw for your husband, that's the place to do it. Clearwater Power Equipment, 252 Washington Street, 734-7767.
You're like a dinosaur. It's probably good you're retiring. Okay, I just want to remind everyone I am going to be at the Art of the Gift, Authors and Artisans on the Rim tomorrow. It's they have it at the Full Moon Gallery and in the lobby, and on the second floor there's going to be 30 local authors and artisans from 11 to 7 p.m. at the Twin Falls Center for the Arts. And guess what? Admission is free. So you could do a little shopping. You could go to lunch at Elevation. You could do shopping after lunch. You could go there for dinner, do shopping before dinner. Yada, yada, yada. And I'll have some caramel corn. So if you want me to sign a great, healthy cookbook.
Yeah, if there's any men who want to buy a cookbook for their
Oh,
wives.
stop. Anyway, you might have a granddaughter, a niece, an aunt, whatever, who's vegan, vegetarian, buy the cookbook. You have someone who has high cholesterol, someone who wants to eat healthier, buy the cookbook. You want to eat healthier, you practice meatless Mondays, buy the cookbook. $18 plus tax. I'll sign it for you. It'll be a great gift. And
You can sell it on eBay for twice the price.
You're terrible. If you want to order through my website, I do free shipping. I don't do free shipping. I do free gift wrapped.
Yeah. Okay,
So if they
there you
live
go.
out of the area. But anyway, hope to see you tomorrow, 11 to 7, Twin Falls Arts Center.
I want to do a shout out too for the Magic Valley Realtors Association. I went there last night and I did the PA for all their giveaways. So that was
Did
kind
you?
of fun. A lot of people there, yeah.
Were they all saying, Kelly, don't go, don't go,
They were.
Kelly."
They were, as a matter of fact. I almost changed my mind.
Oh.
Then I come back here, though, and I'm not going to change my
Hey,
mind.
today's our lunch.
Yeah,
If
our
you
lunch
got-
today.
If you see a white limo driving by downtown, anywhere, down Washington or Blue Lakes, beep, it's us.
Yeah, we're going to the Canyon Crest Dining and Events Center with Dennis and Cheryl Becker today, so it should be a good time
Our
to be
last
had by 'em.
lunch with Kelly Clark.
We'll see you Monday. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.